Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, Put Sage on It Barbecue. I'm Sage, and as always, we're going to be barbecuing today, doing it right. And look at this day. Beautiful day to barbecue. So today we're going to be using a little bit different smoker. I'll show you here. Alright, so we're going to use the old barrel smoker, the old Oklahoma Joe's. I bought this during the COVID lockdown, basically. Yeah, you can see cobwebs still on here. So this is a good smoker. I haven't used it in a while. I'll tell you guys a little tip. If you have one of these, either this brand or any kind, really, that's similar, they do have a chimney here on them, you know, the damper. You might want to, I just honestly just blew down in this, to be honest, and blew this out the bottom, because that's how you get your airflow, right? Down in the bottom of your chamber, as you can see that little hole in the middle, that's where that pipe runs down to. So that's where you get your airflow. So I had a little blockage in there, you know, just ash buildup. So make sure that's cleared out. If you have one of these, or again, you're going to have fire management problems. But anyway, so I'm getting ready to kick the tires and light the fires, as they say. So I've got my hardwood charcoal. I do really like hardwood charcoal. This isn't the big lump charcoal, as in you know, the very oddly shaped ones that are literally shaped like pieces of wood. These are in briquette forms, but they work just as well. And we're going to put a little fire starter in there. Make it easier on yourself, guys. And another thing, I don't recommend using lighter fluid. You know, that's just going to get, even though most of that burns off, you're going to get some of that chemical residue in your food. It's just going to happen. This thing, you just light the fire and light this wrapper actually, and put it up under there and just let it burn. So that's what we're going to do. As you can see there, so I lit my little fire starter. Now I'm just going to let it catch my charcoal on fire. So yeah, we'll give that about 10 minutes. We'll go check the chicken situation out. Today we're going to make some spatchcock chicken. So I'm going to show you what that is, what that entails, what that means. So let's go check it out. Okay guys, we're in the kitchen now. So we're making spatchcock chicken. And for some of you that don't know what that is, that's essentially where you cut the backbone out of the chicken. You can do this with turkey as well. And I will tell you, it will cut your cooking time, I don't want to say in half, but I would say it'll cut it down by a third. Anyway, so the way that we're going to do this, you can use a pair of scissors. This is really not like the good kind of kitchen scissors that you get with, you know, a good cutlery set. This is just a regular pair of scissors. So if I have too much trouble, got a little backup plan here. Be careful, just don't cut yourself. Just turn the chicken over. So the backbone is going to be essentially, you know, right here on the back. So we'll try some scissors first. Again, just kind of feeling up alongside of that. We'll see how this feels. Take your time with it. That side wasn't too bad. Once you get one side, you can kind of feel around a little bit better. And be careful, there are bones here that you don't want to cut yourself on. Had to go over that just a bit. Okay, let's come to the other side. Again, I'm just working it, taking my time. think I will bring the knife in. Again, be very careful if you're doing this kind of stuff. Always cut away from your body. Make sure your fingers are out of the way. Okay. Now we can really expose this this bag of innards here. I'm just going to put that in the garbage where it belongs. I'm just teasing you guys. If you like that sort of thing, go for it. There we go. Again, this is not an all-in-one shot sort of thing, as you can see. Sometimes you just got to keep rotating this around, working it from a different angle. But eventually you will cut the backbone out. So, now again, here's what we can do with that. Now you can lay this out. As you can see, this flattens down a lot better. You see how that looks? Just getting a lot of these just little pieces out of the way here. Okay, now we're gonna pat that dry. Like I always say, you want to pat that dry before you try to do any kind of seasoning to this. That's going to help your skin get good and crispy. Okay, we don't have to kill ourselves. All right. Now we're going to season it up a little bit. Okay. We're going to hit that with just a little bit of olive oil. That'll help the rub stick. You can use mustard. You can use water, if that's what you want to do. But again, the good thing about olive oil is it really adds flavor. Okay. Today I'm going to hit it with a little of this little Kinder's rub today. It's black cherry chipotle. It's just as simple as putting that on. Just try to get a good, nice, even coat. Boy, it smells good, I can tell you. You can smell the cherry in it. So, I mean, that's the thing. I eventually want to get to the point, because I'm starting a mobile barbecue business, and I do want to get to the point where I make my own rub, make my own barbecue sauce. But, you know, if you're not obviously starting a business, and quite honestly, even though I am starting a business, I'm not a hater of any of this commercial stuff, any of these rubs that are out. A lot of them are very good. Obviously, they were created by people who, at least in most circumstances, care about barbecue and care about sales of the product. So anyway, we're going to give that a shot. I'm essentially going to do the same thing to the other chicken, the exact same thing, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I added a little more. I do want this fire to be kind of hot. This is not a low and slow situation. I'll explain why in just a second. I'm going to add some hickory chunks. Be careful. Be careful. Actually, I think I said hickory, but this is actually apple. Sorry about that. These are apple chunks. So we've used a cherry rub, and we're using pieces of apple here. These are pretty big chunks. So that'll give us our smoke that we're looking for. Now the reason I'm making this fire hotter instead of like cooking at 225, 250, trying to get this glove on at the same time. We're cooking this chicken, and I will tell you from experience, chicken does not benefit from low and slow. Have you ever eaten chicken and you take a bite of the skin, and even though the skin tastes good, you know, they've marinated it well, the skin just comes right off. The whole part of the thigh, I guess the whole skin off the top of the thigh, comes off right in your mouth. I'm gonna set this down in here ever gingerly. Anyway, that's because they've cooked it on too low of a temperature. Probably, you know, 250, 275 even. I'd like to get this fire up to at least 300, if not 325 or 350. I'll even take that. And this is, I haven't used this in a while. It's a little trial and error. I'm not a big fan of using dampers. I leave my dampers wide open, or at least I'd like to, because there's a difference between clean smoke and dirty smoke. You want this fire to look, well, like it does now, like a bluish tint to it. That's clean smoke. If you start getting smoke out of your smoker that's black, looks kind of like soot, and it'll smell like it too, that's dirty smoke. And a lot of people make the mistake of just adding too much charcoal or too much wood, like I hope that I didn't just do. But we'll see. You add too much, and then in order to control the temperature, you start closing the dampers off. Because you know, it's got a damper here, it's got a damper here on top. So people will close these down, start choking that fire off, and this smoke will turn from blue to black. I try to leave these wide open. Alright, so that is what it is. So now I'm going to, forgive the camera work here, just got to kind of do this by hand, it's a lot of moving around. We're going to put our damper plate in there. This actually, it's kind of a heat condenser or heat reducer, at least deflecting some of the heat from your meat. So, and then on top of that, we got our grill grate. So I'm gonna let this heat up. Again, I got my dampers wide open. So, yeah, like I said, this thing's dirty. I haven't used this old thing for a while. But boy, I remember it makes good food. So, again, see that blue smoke? That's what you want. And honestly, is this, I've added some charcoal, if you remember. I'm actually going to let that burn down a little bit. And as everything in there gets kind of fully combusted, this won't be smoking as much. I'd like for it to smoke, oh, excuse me, got indigestion. I'd like for it to smoke very little. Just a thin blue smoke coming out, but we'll check back and see. Okay guys, I've transferred my chickens off of the cutting board into just a thin baking pan, like for baking cookies. We all have 2 or 3 of these, I'm sure. And if I teach you anything, I hope that it's, you know, make your life easier if you can. Yeah, I could put this right on the grates, and, you know, you're going to hear a lot of barbecue traditionalists, you know, put it over the fire, cook it over the fire every time. Use homemade sauces, homemade rubs, homemade everything. You know, I'm here to tell you again, you don't always have to do that. And the more barbecue pits I've had to clean out because of drippings. And you can put a drip tray under it. You know, don't get me wrong, I could put this on one rack, not in this smoker, but I've got another smoker that's got several racks. You can put a drip pan under it, but still, a lot of this chicken residue, you know, kind of sticks to your grill grates, and you got to clean that off. So this works so nicely. A lot less drippings, and again, in this situation, you know, it would be hard for me to put a drip pan under there. So this is what I'm going to go with, and I'm going to get this on the smoker after it gets heated up. Real quick, guys, you want to put a moisturizer inside of your grill cavity, as far as something to keep the container, the containment area I should say, moisturized. Some people put a pan of water. I've used, you know, an empty Coke can, just put water in it, but today a little bit of this is actually about 3/4 full. Don't worry about that. It's again just to keep moisture in the air. So I'm gonna put that on my heat condenser, and then put my grill grate back on one-handed. All right, I hate to keep opening that up. I lost some temperature. All right, it'll come back up, but yeah, smoke is rolling. So some of that wood's starting to combust, and that other charcoal that I put on is also starting to combust. So I'm gonna let this at least get up to about, you know, at least 250 probably before I throw the chicken on there. So we'll be back in a second. Okay guys, I went ahead and put that chicken on. It's inching up about around 275. Again, I'd like to get that to 300, 325. Again, just to crisp that skin up a little bit. This barely fit on this grill, by the way. I'm not gonna leave this open long because, you know, I don't want to lose temp, but it just barely kind of end to end. It's hard to see while I stand in my own light. But yeah, there we go. Let's close that back. All right, so I've also fired up the propane smoker because I'm gonna make some potatoes first. Just some kind of what kind of potatoes am I making? Red potatoes. Red potatoes, a little bit of sort of a garlic and herb potato, and I'm going to roast some different kinds of vegetables, roasted vegetables. Sorry, my brain's not working too well today, but I'll get it together. So this is heating up here, as you can see. I love these smokers too. I use all different kinds, and they all have pros and cons. You know, this is sort of like a pellet smoker as far as it holds its temperature. You know, you can just adjust the burners on it basically, and so you can get this kind of where you want it. You can turn it down a little bit or turn it up a little bit as you need. It's got a little air damper as well that's bent. It's gotten bent traveling, moving it around. But anyway, again, I'm back to this one. I'm gonna try to leave those dampers wide open. I suggest you do that as well. The smoke is blue. It's hard to tell, and again, I'm hoping the smoke thins out as some of that combusts and gets hotter, burns down a little bit. But a good rule of thumb is like smell the smoke. What does it smell like? This smoke, again, it's thicker than I want right now. It's where things are still burning down, but it is smelling really good. You know, you can kind of loft that towards yourself. Smells wonderful, and again, it's still got a blue hue to it, so I'm not worried about it getting dirty or being dirty smoke. And yeah, this is continuing to climb. This is going where I want it to go. So, all right, I'm gonna go get the potatoes ready. Okay guys, so we're back. We got some red potatoes here. Boy, these weren't the best. They had a lot of eyes on them, and you know how that is when you buy potatoes. But anyway, just gonna slice them in half again. And I think I'm even going to quarter them. So that's still nice big pieces of potato. So I'm going to cut those up just like that, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, so we're back, and here's our potatoes. I got another little baking pan there. So again, I'm just going to transfer these into my pan here. You can cut these up as you like, bigger, smaller pieces. Just keep in mind that might affect the cooking time. Just got to kind of check on it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that with a little olive oil. And you know what? I've got a brush. It's always nice to have a barbecue brush that you can just kind of stir it around a little bit. You can even shake it back and forth. Just like that. So I'm just trying to get these coated. And again, flip them. Don't want to drown them, but you know, I just want to get a good coat on them. Again, that adds flavor. It's going to help crisp those potatoes. I always have to try to enunciate that word, I'm finding. It's a little hard to say, crisp. Okay. Wow, looks good. It's a beautiful day to barbecue. Everybody's out. My neighbor was out today. Got a young man that lives next door. Very polite young man. He's been out cleaning up the fence in our yard where the storm blew it over. So I was out talking to him a little bit. But anyway, again, we're just going to do that. Simple as that. And let me think. What do I want to do here? I know I'm going to hit it with a little parsley. I've got a guest coming that's not a big fan of pepper, but salt is okay. And I should have opened this earlier. It'll just take a second. I like kosher salt. That's just me. It's a nice coarse salt. So I'm going to salt those just a little bit. Don't have to go crazy. Alright, again, you can kind of bounce them around. And the more you get those kind of laid out, spread them out evenly, the better they're going to cook. And again, I'm not trying to kill them with salt. Now I'm going to hit it with the little parsley flakes. Again, part of my channel is don't be a hater. You know, you can use fresh parsley, and I do. And fresh ingredients do make a big difference. Don't get me wrong there. But you know, you're cooking for family and friends. It's about convenience. Not that you can't just pick up some fresh parsley, but you know, chopping it up and all that. These will work too. Just some parsley flakes. Gonna add a little bit of color to our potatoes. Wow, it already looks pretty. Red and green, like Christmas time here. Okay, and again, shake them, shake and bake. Shake and smoke anyway, right? So, that's that. I'm gonna put them on a smoker, about 325 degrees. Gonna roll this should go about an hour and a half, I would say. But we're just gonna check them until they get fork tender. And then just to give you a preview, you know what's going on, we're gonna bring them in. We're gonna hit them with, again, don't be a hater. You can fry up real bacon if you want, but I'm gonna throw some bacon bits on them, some Parmesan cheese on top, and yeah. So let's do that. Let me go check the smoker. Okay guys, we're back out to the smoker. Don't forget to add some water to your water chamber. Again, any kind of smoker. This one's got a tray for it. So we'll just fill it up. It'll go through this quicker than you think too. And then we got trays here for wood chips. So I'm just gonna add a few to that. Okay, so I've added some wood. I didn't mean for this wood to be wet. It is my apple wood. But I left this in the back of my truck basically, because there's a whole debate on whether or not to soak wood chips or not. I'm not a fan of soaking wood chips. Again, anything that keeps something from combusting cleanly, you have more risk of getting dirty smoke. But it is what it is. I think it'll be okay. These are just big chunks. This is made more for smaller chips, but they burn up so fast. I like to get bigger chunks of wood anyway. So I've left that open way too long. So my fire's, my heat's dwindled down here. Again, we want to get this to 325. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in, just so I got them started. Forgot to take my other racking stuff that I store inside of it out, but it's all metal components, so I'm not worried. Sanitation, if nothing else, right? So I'm gonna go bottom rack here. Again, around about 325, hour and a half. Keep checking till it's fork tender. And this beast is rolling along beautifully, as you can see. We're a hair over 325 there, maybe 330, 335. Again, with chicken, that is wonderful. It's exactly where we want to be. That smoke is starting to thin out, as you can see. It's getting a little thinner. It's blue, smells good. That's great. So I'm just taking a little intermission here, and I was tempted to get one of those blue raspberry drinks that I put in the smoker earlier for moisturization, so that I could moisturize my insides with it. But then I remembered no alcohol for me for the next 75 days. Starting that 75, what is it, 75 hard, get hard, something. Maybe I'll cut that out, maybe I won't. 75 hard challenge. So I'm not allowed to have alcohol for 75 days. But I can have water. This isn't actually spring water. I filled this up with worse, tap water. So it's about 3 o'clock, and so far today, I've got my first workout in. You have to do 2 a day, each 45-minute workouts. One has to be outside regardless of weather. So I got my first workout in. I have to read 10 pages of nonfiction that I have not done yet. I have to stick to a diet plan of my choosing. Now, thank goodness we live in America. So when I was picking my diet plan, I chose carefully. We have loopholes. You have people who eat taco salads, okay? And these people probably came up with this diet. You can look it up. I'm not making it up. It's called a flexitarian. So basically, obviously I love barbecue. And I wanted to try something that was plant-based, believe it or not. Vegetarian, vegan. I'll probably go more vegetarian, not vegan route. You know, I love eggs and milk and whatnot. But, so kind of vegetarian throughout the week, except for one day when I can eat meat as much as I want. And that's what a flexitarian diet is. There's people who are heavy flexitarians and light flexitarians. Depends on how much meat you allow in your diet. But mine's going to be, I don't know which definition this is, but I'm just going to eat meat one day a week on my days when I do my filming. But anyway, it's 3 o'clock and I've drank that much water. You see that? That's how much I've drank so far. So I got a little ways to go. But we'll get it done. Alright, so anyway, I'm gonna get drinking this water and we'll check back on these smokers, see what's going on. Alright, so the propane smoker, I wanted it about 325. We're a little over 300, about 310. So I may just bump that up, you know, just a hair. Really, a little dab will do you with this propane. Just barely turn those. So we're getting in range there. Got good smoke coming out of there. You know, you don't have to smoke this stuff to death. Like I'm saying, less is more. And as you can see, like I said, this is combusting down nicely, so it's settling down. So you can see the smoke coming out there. Just a thin blue smoke, and that's what you want. You want it just to be translucent, right? Yeah, you want to see right through it like a ghost. So this one here, yeah, we're getting a little close to 350. So again, that wood's burning up. I'm okay with that. Do not be shocked. Like I said, 325 was where I kind of wanted to be, but 350 I can live with that. I really hope it don't go much higher than that. But I can live with that. That'll start combusting down, it'll start dropping. And it'll give me more cook time, so I don't have to mess with, you know, these are hard. I don't want to say hard, but harder to deal with than some smokers. Obviously everything's down here in the bottom. It's not like we have a door. So when our stuff starts to burn out, our charcoal burns off, we have to take all this out, put more in it, you know, which drops the temperature on this. It's a whole thing. Starting over almost. So it's been about an hour here. I think it's about 3 o'clock. I'm just going to peek at this. We can afford to lose a few degrees in temp, so I'm not worried. Oh my goodness. Wow. Beautiful. Collar's good. I'm going to get some water and spray this down. Okay guys, I stepped in here. We're going to do some roasted vegetables, as I said. So, some zucchini here, or not zucchini, asparagus. Sorry, that's asparagus. Some carrots, some peppers, and a zucchini. So I'm not going to make a big thing about this. The peppers, just going to cut the end off. Like so. And I'm going to get these, you can see the seeds on the inside. Anybody that's ever cut a pepper, I don't really have to tell you how to do that. But I'm just going to cut that little thing out of there. You can pull it right out, like so. Comes right out of there. So I'll throw that away. And with this stuff, with these vegetables, you kind of want nice big pieces. So that way it kind of survives the heat a little better. Because this is going to be high heat. So I'm going to just cut that in nice, right, big thick slices. Sort of like that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with our peppers. The asparagus is going to be as is. We're just going to leave that like it is. And our carrots, as simple as just cutting the ends off of it. Okay. We're just going to slice those right down the middle. Be careful. Nice sharp knife. So we'll cut those in halves like that. Again, nice big thick slices. And trust me, like I said, you'll be glad you did with the kind of heat that you're going to want to use. I'm going to put mushrooms on there. These are already sliced. They're probably about a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to throw some of those on there. And zucchini. Just slice the ends off. And again, nice thick 1/4, maybe a little more inch slices there. They're rolling all over the place, but that's okay, we'll catch them. Okay, like so. So that's our zucchini slices. And again, our mushrooms. Mushrooms are already kind of like we like them. So I'm going to slice the rest of these up the same way. And then I'll show you what we'll do next here. Okay, so I'm back. I did rinse these. I didn't want you to worry about that. Stay up tonight worrying about it. So yeah, that's why they're all kind of wet here. But what I'm going to do is, you know, a lot of people put olive oil on these, you know, to cook them. And again, just to add flavor. And also just to put some kind of moisturizing oil on it just to protect the vegetable itself. Even though we're cooking it on very high heat, you know, we still want it to have a good bite to it. You know, we're not going to have it on there too long, obviously. But anyway, instead of using extra virgin olive oil, I'm going to be kind of remarinating. Well, I won't say remarinating. I'll be marinating these at the end. The reason I say remarinating is because I'm actually going to use the same thing I'm going to kind of drizzle these with after they're finished. That way I don't have two different kinds of oils on there and it be kind of over oily, two different flavors competing against each other. Italian dressing. So this is kind of what I'm going to put on the end after these are kind of smoked / fire roasted. And so I'm just going to drizzle a little of that around here. So I've got these all laid out here so I can get to them. And this is a good time to bring in your brush here. You can kind of just go over those a little. It coats very nicely. And I didn't even use all of what I cut up. I mean, I'm only cooking for 3 people here. This is going to be an absolute smorgasbord, as they say. So, just picking up some of that oil. Just try to get a little bit of coating on those. Here we go. Even our asparagus. I could flip these, but I'm not too worried about the bottom side just because obviously I've got some on the cutting board, you can just kind of move your vegetables around a little bit. Don't sweat the small stuff. So after you've done that, I'm just going to put a little salt on there. Just a little flavor profile going on the top. I'm going to make a huge mess. Trying not to, but salt bounces everywhere. Just salt, and again, I'm using kosher salt. I love kosher salt for almost anything. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna check on the potatoes, check on the chicken. After the potatoes are done, these are going to go on at a higher temperature. Honestly, probably like 450, at least 400. You want a good high heat, so we'll see. So we'll check on the potatoes. Yeah, we're running about 315 probably. And that's okay. It's a good temperature. Just gonna open this up. And take a look at those potatoes. They're starting to get a little color to them. Let's see. They're still not fork tender. Right? You can kind of tell, just kind of stick a fork in it. It should go in nice and easy. Just not there. These need to keep roasting. But they're looking good. Okay guys, just checking on the chicken here. I stuck a little probe down in the breast there, and you're getting just a little over 160. And honestly, these have only been on here about 2 hours. 160, that's about where I want that breast. The thigh will be a little hotter, but that's actually what you want. That dark meat, you need to cook that a little bit higher anyway. You want that dark meat to be 170 to 180. Wow, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's what I want for that dark meat, and that's what I want for that white meat. So these are finished in 2 hours. That is the benefit, as I told you earlier, to spatchcocking a chicken, a turkey. 2 hours on the smoker, these are finished. So these will come off and rest. Beautiful looking birds. All right, guess we'll wait on the potatoes. Okay guys, gonna check on the potatoes. Still rolling about, 325. So I'm going to open this up, take a look. They're getting softer. Still not where we want them though. I still want those to be a little bit softer. We're not going to rush it. Back in you go. Okay guys, the potatoes are about 5 minutes away from being done. I decided to go ahead and cut up just a couple garlic cloves and just add. I'm going to be putting these directly on the grates, so just do your best. That's all I can say. I'm just trying to impart a little bit of garlic flavor. Just a hint, as they say. Should cut that up a little better. Chasing it around here. Again, I don't expect those cloves to stay in place on the grates whatsoever. Just adding a little bit more flavor here and there. Alright, we're going to get the potatoes off in just a minute. Okay guys, checking on the potatoes. Still running about 325. So we're going to see kind of what it's looking like. Well, they got good color. They're good and brown. And let's see. Yeah. You can see that there. Yeah, they're fork tender. Yeah, the fork goes right in there. Sorry about the camera work here. Doing my best. But as you can see, like I said, the fork goes in a lot easier now. They're starting to break apart a little bit. That's what we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these off. And it actually took about 2 hours instead of an hour and a half, but again, it's barbecue and it takes what it takes. So we'll get these off, get the veggies on. Alright. Okay guys, so we're back inside. These are fork tender. They got good color to them. So now we're just going to top them with a little Parmesan cheese. So we'll sprinkle a little of that over the top. Boy, it smells good, I tell you. Okay. Wow, those look good. And as promised, some bacon bits. And take this thing out. For the love of God, do not eat it. Do not eat. Okay. Good. So, just gonna give it a little bacon coating here. Can't go wrong with bacon. Like I said, this is quick and easy. You can add as much or as little as you want. Just add a little more flavor. Simple as that. I'm gonna put that in the oven just on warm. The chicken's in there as well, just to keep it warm until the vegetables are finished. So now we'll throw the vegetables on. Okay guys, we got our vegetables here. And this smoker is going about 350. And again, I would like this to be hotter for these vegetables, around 400 at least. But it's just taking forever. It may be maxed out due to whatever reasons, I'm not sure. I've adjusted the dampers and done many things, but looks like it's going to stay about 350. The propane's running low, that could have something to do with it. But anyway, I want to put these on the smoker and then I'll let you see how that looks. I just spread them out on the grill there. Yeah, I lost a couple down in there, but you know what? It's okay. Okay guys, I'm disheartened. I used foil, as you can see, to start with. Ended up taking it out because I wanted this to be more down on the grates, close to the fire. I've lost about half of this now. As you can see, I keep losing more and more stuff. So I'm going to salvage what I can here and just call it. Let's take this off. I'm frustrated, guys. This is real barbecuing, learning lessons. Okay guys, so I brought these in. As you can see, it did not go according to plan. The smoker just would not get up to the right temperature. You may be asking yourself, Sage, what can I do? How can I salvage it? You know, this isn't you know, charred kind of like I would like it. Just a little bit of char. But hey, where there's a will, there's a way, right? Butane torch. It's working, folks. Yeah, it's getting hot. We're getting some charred zucchini. Woo! Yeah, it gets hot. But it is working. So we ain't gotta go crazy, but like I said, you can hear that crackle. Especially on those peppers. Get a little of that fire roasted kind of result that we were hoping to get. Blister enough, we don't care. That's all we were looking for. So you see, we didn't go crazy. We just put a little bit of char here and there. Yeah, you can see that there. Just so you can get kind of a bite of that. Again, so butane torch is a backup for the win. So it's been a long day of cooking, guys. Boy, look at this. Let's look at those. Wow, the potatoes. And you can see the torch came in handy there. That's what we wanted. So I'm going to taste this. Okay. We'll start with one of these potatoes. Boy, they're fork tender. Wow. Wow, those are so good. I cannot tell you how good that is. Don't be afraid to pick anything up. So again, vegetables are so good. They still got a crunch to them. Because you don't want to overcook your vegetables. You don't want to get them to where they're soft and floppy. You still want them to have that crunch. But it's got that smoke flavor. Just delicious. Good. Now, our chicken. That's what I'm talking about. That bite through skin. Wow. Got juice dripping all over me. That is so good. Man. We did it again. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.